Okay, guys, Euro season is upon us. England are creeping up to be favourites, which I have mixed feelings about because there is a team south of us called France who are usually quite handy in these international competitions. Um, James, we're going to have a lot of international content coming up here for the Euros. Of course, we are. But I think one of the biggest questions, because I was at a pub last night talking to a couple of friends about it, is what the England 11 should be, because I think we have all the names, but it's fitting them in, how we fit them in, what the style of play is going to look like, what does Gareth Southgate usually do, what should he do, what will he do, all those questions start coming in. What I've done for us here, and I say us, like we didn't just talk about it before recording, but these I think are the ones where you talk to any England fan, any football fan who knows anything about anything. All of these players, how many we got? Five, are basically locks in the team. Again, you and I talked about this before recording here. I think Ramsdale should probably have done better a little bit for this kind of thing, and maybe some other decisions to be made. But apart from that, Kane, Bellingham, Rice, Stones, Pickford, locks. Would you agree with that?
Easy. To me, a couple, maybe Bellingham's position might be a bit wary on where he should play based on other players fitting in there. But these are all the locks there easily.
So I want to get into the hottest part of the conversation first. I don't want to just go from the bottom up. So James, I want to talk to you about who fills that midfield spot in. I'm going to first of all get kind of the elephant in the room out of the way. And you and I both know what that is, and that's Phil Foden. Phil Foden has the talent and the ability to be in this squad and be in this starting 11. But the question is he in that number 11 spot there over on the left wing? Or is he over in that number 8 spot next to Bellingham, next to Rice? What do you do?
We can both agree that Phil Foden gets in this England team.
Yes,
the question
agreed.
is just where. Yeah.
Yes.
I was listening to Wayne Rooney, and he was talking about how, because I think what we both want to do is put Bellingham right next to, let's put Foden right next to Bellingham, and that's my ideal thing because I believe England dominate the majority of the football. But in a big game against France, are you going to do that?
Right.
That's the biggest question because I want everybody to be. Fantasy football is beautiful, but you're trying to build a team who can actually compete against the best teams, and things like transition is a big thing. And listen, I'm not saying Foden wouldn't be incredible, in this team and like what he can bring, but off the ball, sometimes players can be wanted. So even
Right.
think of it, like even a player like Jude Bellingham. At the end of the day, like he's protected in this Real Madrid system. Not saying he can't do it, but he's protected in a Real Madrid system where Tchouameni, Camavinga, Valverde, Cruz is there to cover him when he might switch off a bit. Here, you've seen with a team like Manchester United, Casemiro, when he's left in the ocean and just players just wandered here, there, and everywhere, and then the actual transition comes. Yeah, it's chaos. Yeah, and I want everybody to understand. Pep Guardiola is Pep Guardiola. Just because Pep does it, that don't mean every other team can do it.
Right.
Yeah, Pep is the only. I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh, why don't we play John Stones in the midfield?"
I know.
Listen, only Pep Guardiola. Let me take off my hat there for a minute. Only Pep Guardiola can do something like that. Only Pep Guardiola can let John Jones drift into midfield and make a back three. No other coach in world football can do what he does. Just leave it there.
Well, he can. The thing is, though, the one thing I would disagree, but not totally disagree, is just tuning that, which is, James, he can do it, but it doesn't look like it does when he's playing for Man City in that Man City setup under Pep. He would very much be just shuffling across, trying to make the right passes, retaining possession. There wouldn't be that nuanced side of it that Pep has. So here's my question, because this is what I want to throw out there. I don't think we're strong at left wing. So I want to put Foden there.
Do you know what?
But James, so here's my kind of couple of wild cards. Does he go in there? And does he just kind of fill some gaps in? And he's a bit of a jack of all trades. He's solid, good engine, Let's Bellingham and Rice do their thing. Do we go totally crazy and Jack Farr conspiracy theory and do James Brown?
No, Jack, that
no,
really
I
doesn't happen. Mason Mount was out the picture. Jack, there's a reason why Jordan Henderson made that move.
But James, do we do Trent? do we go insane and do we put Trent there, maybe on the right hand side, so Bellingham shifts to the left?
If this is okay, Jack, this is my
That's
opinion.
nuts. If it's Rice, Bellingham, Trent, and Foden all in the same team, that's nuts. But I love it, but we'll never do it.
Okay. First of all, let's go. If we are going to focus on forward and playing either position, let's put Saka at the 7. Saka,
Okay.
uh,
Well,
yeah,
so
Saka wide.
quickly, let's park midfield and wing. Let's talk about the right wing because I put Saka in just so everyone knows. I
Yeah.
put Saka in, and I went, "Are you happy with these as locks, James?" And James went, "I'm not 100% on Saka on the right wing." Get into that. Dive into that.
The only thing about it is that Foden's played on the right wing a couple times with City and has been really, really, really good in there.
Right.
Both Foden and Saka are both left-footed, and we know the rivalry that's been going on and debates have been going on between them. So I'm just maybe thinking maybe Gareth Southgate in his mind is thinking Foden, But personally, listen. I'm playing Saka, but to me, if Jack asked me who's a shoe in for the England team, I don't think Saka was a complete shoe in for the England team. Yeah, but overall, if I'm picking my best England team, to me, Bukayo Saka is definitely in there. So if we're gonna drift Phil Foden in these other positions, there, Saka all day long.
The only other thing I'll say about maybe having Foden off the right, relationship with Carl Walker, relationship with John Stones. I don't know how much that counts for, but does that make a big difference?
People say relationships, this ain't ultimate team. The
Sure.
relationships is cool to a certain point, but when you get caught out in a whole completely different system, people talk about, oh, like those relationships. But Jack, when you look at the system, when you and I keep on mentioning the transitions, yeah, Man City, the reason why they keep the ball really, really close to each other because the transitions is shorter. England, yeah, might want to play a bit more expansive, and then Jack, for instance, the transitions are even bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
And so that means that might give a chance for a Carl Walker to be caught out, or Jack, even a John Stones to be caught out. So I don't get too caught up in that, like in that sort of thing when I'm thinking about it when I'm looking at this team. But Jack, the one thing I do want to do, let's
Yeah.
start getting names on the
Okay.
board. Let's go right back to me. You meant we when we're picking this team. I know there's Reece James. He's been out injured. Carl Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold. No, it's Carl Walker. Carl Walker
Yeah.
is a easily a shoo in any team right now. He
Okay.
must play and like he will play. Next to him, it's going to be Harry Maguire. Let's not.
But would
Jack,
that is that who you want in there though, James? That's the real question. Does Lewis
but
Dunk
has
out?
anybody? But is anybody really like put out a case there to challenge him?
I hear you. I do hear you, and I think the whole thing about has Maguire ever failed for England, and I'd say, yep, okay, probably not. So I think he probably does go in there. I'm not thrilled about it, but like you say, nobody's blown me away to say they have to be there. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
James, does Kieran Trippier go at left back because Shaw's injured? I don't know if you can trust Ben Chilwell. What do you do at left back?
It looks like it has to be Trippier by the looks um of it. I just yeah, England to me, England on that side. Luke Shaw seems to be the guy. I've never really been the biggest fan of Luke Shaw because of just his inconsistency injury wise. Yeah, yeah, it looks like
When
it's going to be Trippier there.
when he plays, he's fantastic. But I think I read a stat the other day. I think since moving to Manchester United, I think he misses like 13 games a season, or like he's only played 13 games a season, or something like that. You're like, my God, he's barely played. Um,
No, listen, it's
so let me
ridiculous.
let me do let me do this then, James. I'm gonna put in what I want or what I would do if I was the manager, right?
Okay,
And you tell me um, what you would do to change it because this is potentially a bit of a hot take for me. I think you need to let Rice do Rice, let him do his thing because the way he's been playing in the setup in the Arsenal team at the moment, you just have to let him do that. Bellingham, to me, to a certain extent, I'm going to give him free reign to do whatever he wants, get forward. Because, James, we know Kane's coming deep, probably to receive the ball periodically. Foden's going to want to operate in half space. Saka's going to want to operate in half space and drift around a bit. So, what we need is fullbacks bombing on, but you need that other guy next to Rice who can
Jack.
just do those other
Okay,
midfield jobs.
Jack. Okay, so this is how Jack would play it. Yeah,
Personally, him
how
or Ward Prowse.
Okay, how I would play it would be a little bit different. So if England were playing against a team that they would dominate, I would put Phil Foden in there, and maybe on the Phil Foden replacing him for Conor Gallagher in the eight, and then on the left hand side it would either be, bear in mind Cole Palmer's had a brilliant season,
He
but
has.
I have to say Marcus Rashford
Oof.
or Raheem Sterling. That's yeah,
I
that would be my thing. Sterling in recent weeks, I get it, hasn't cut it. Anthony Gordon's been out. He's out for the 6 or 7
Yep.
months, so he's completely done. But Jack, another way I would do this, and you may think I'm crazy here, I would play a double pivot with Rice one side, Bellingham as the 10, Foden out wide on the left hand side, yeah, and then as the number 8, I would have Kobe Maynard for Manchester.
I was going to
United.
bring him up.
In
What? Man, that's such a
Mainoo,
risk.
sorry. Jack, do you know what it is? Is that, listen, if he's good enough to play him. Jack, he's starting for Manchester United. I'm sorry, the level for Manchester United is massive.
Yeah,
It's absolutely massive. Why not chuck him in, man? Yeah, why not put him in that in that environment? He can only learn. He can only get better. And Jack, to me, the protection is so much better. I think in terms of you being able to keep the ball, Jack, he
I think
he
you're
might
right.
not be as experienced as Jordan Henderson, but in terms of like ball retention, when the game gets a little bit sticky for England, he has the ability to put his foot on the ball, Jack, and just get the ball moving
Yeah.
a little bit, calm the place down. And Jack, with the players surrounding him, surely you mentioned the word the lack of experience. There's enough experience, international experience surrounding him that he won't feel overwhelmed. So that to me could also be a thing that I
We-
would look at personally, guys. Let me listen. United fans, England fans, let me know.
Right.
Let me know what you think about this. But
We've also, the other thing I'll say is we've seen him be clutch and score goals in high pressure moments. We've seen him do a Busquets, which is there's three
mhm,
players around him and he does a couple of little turns and whatever, and he just dominates the ball.
and Jack, I think that you get the best out of Declan Rice, yeah, when you ask him, yeah, to roam about the field a little bit more,
Yeah.
yeah, get stuck in, and let's just say when we are in possession, give the player who is a bit more comfortable on the ball the reins, yeah, and
Yeah.
you look for little holes in there, yeah. I think Kobe Mainoo is a much better player on the ball. It can get England moving quicker than
You,
a Declan Rice.
you're
So that's
talking you're talking me into it, and I actually do really like it. But it's we can't say it's not bold.
It,
James, going
Jack is not bold, but we've seen younger players come in and make bigger impacts than that. You
yeah,
know, so like Jack, you look at the French midfield; they're not as the age gap isn't that crazy.
right.
Schumanni's on like 2021. You know, Camavinga's 2020. Like Jack, it's I don't think it's crazy to have him in there.
You mentioned the name. How much more does Cole Palmer have to do this season to think about stealing that number 7 spot from Bukayo Saka?
Does he even play there for England? Or does he play for Chelsea?
He
He
plays
plays in around the 10. Yeah, he plays in around the
10 off
10.
the right. Yeah,
Jack, he's definitely bagging in on the door. He's been tremendous for them. To me, I just look at what Bukayo Saka brings overall, Jack. Like it's just a threat that he brings overall. It'll be hard. It really, really will be hard. But he will be the second choice to him. I feel like England right now seems to be in wide areas to a certain point. They're blessed because there's so many options, so many things that they can look at there. We haven't even mentioned players like Jack Grealish that the like granted the season's been bad, but he can still obviously make a big impact there for Rashford in there. Sterling, you can look at there. So yeah, England have some stronger options. Another player that we haven't mentioned there and probably struggled to get into it is James Madison. Another player that you look at and be like, why
it's a good
not?
point. It's a good point. And again, I think against maybe an inferior team, maybe Mainoo drops out and maybe somebody like Madison drops in or Foden drops in and then you bring in a left winger, right? Um, One other question. We've seen
Hit
Inzaghi
me.
with Inter. We've seen the relationship between somebody like Martinez and somebody like Marcus Thuram. England have a pretty decent strength in the striker position right now. Kane likes to come deep. would you consider playing Kane paired with Ollie Watkins, Kane paired with Ivan Toney, Kane paired with Dominic Solanke? Does that enter your thinking at all, or does it need to be
Well,
a 4-3-3?
my only thing is that I think you may lose the dynamism of like certain players. Because let's just say you do play the striker position, that means a Foden, a Saka, Bellingham may have to drop out, Jack. So and I don't think the players coming that yet you mentioned could be more effective than what England already have in wide positions, in more attacking positions. That's just my opinion.
Well, James, I'm not going to lie to you. You've won me over with Kobe Mainoo. It is bold, but I like it. I can't say I don't. I can't say I don't like it. Um, you want to add anything else? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. 4-2-3-1. It feels like we're going back 2012 here, but I kind of
Uh,
yeah, especially with
listen,
Bellingham at 10.
Listen, guys, just let us know how you feel about this team. Who would you pick out? And I need you guys to be like realistic here, yeah?
Yes.
Don't just look at Pep Guardiola. There's only one Pep Guardiola, yeah? Everybody else, listen, they're all counterfeits. Guardiola's Guardiola. Gareth Southgate is definitely not Guardiola. And you have to look at a team that is able to win a knockout game. This is not a league game, a knockout game where it's lose and you're out of there and you won't be coming back for the next 2 to 4 years. So think about it and let us know about this team. Can this team win or can your team win? And a realistic team, guys. Let us know. Comments down below. This is Buck to Buck Football, Jack and James, and we will see you next time.